Buenos nachos, amigos, and welcome to Hallyujuku, a podcast about East Asian pop culture from a couple of non-Asian yahoos that you know and love. I'm Peter Rabe, your man with no plan. Here with me is my tag team partner, my partner in crime, KRYME, Brandon Cooper, aka King Kaz. How you doing, Kaz?
I'm doing good. How are you, good sir?
I'm doing good. I'm chilling. It's a good time to be a fan of music in general. We're a fan of K-pop specifically. We're talking about East Asian pop culture in general. First, we start off every episode checking in, seeing what's new, what's caught our attention. Kaz,
yeah,
what's new? What's caught our attention since we last gathered?
So starting off for me is a track by Cantto called Salty. If you're not familiar with Cantto, he was on the Rebooting Idol project or Idol Rebooting project.
Yeah,
showed really well. Has put out 2 mini albums. This song is from his second. It's called Repetition. Not Reputation, to be confused with Taylor Swift. But it's called Repetition, and it's kind of about it's about these things that we kind of go through in life over and over and over again. And this song being one of them. I think it's really good. It has a really fun vibe. And I think his rapping is a little weird at first, but I like his cadence. I like his vibe. I kind of went through the lyrics a little bit, and they make sense.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of all around good and fun. Sounds good. I like it.
It has a good energy, and I think it's engaging in a really nice way. He showed well in the unit. As I watched my journey through the unit, and it's a shame that he didn't end up in the final group because he had a lot of talent.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of like solid talent up top of that group. But I think it's cool to kind of see, what he's come out with post unit. Hopefully that show giving him a little bit of just a nice little push. Hopefully get his name out a little bit because he was pretty talented.
Yeah, I think he kind of is showing pretty well, and he's working hard. Like he's put out 2 mini albums in not less than a year. I think this one was almost a year and a half after the first one, but putting out music consistently enough to build a body of work, and I think that's always good coming off of any kind of push for yourself. So yes, he doesn't end up in the final group, right? But that show gives him a good push, and people want to hear things from him, and he's done pretty well at giving people something consistently so that they hear something from him, right? So got that.
Solid.
Speaking of giving people something consistently, the boys from GOT7 released not 1 but 2 videos this month. One for their song called New Era, and one for this song that I'm featuring called Look. Look is kind of a almost slower song than New Era. I don't like New Era. It's mostly the beat on New Era that I'm not a fan of. I like the boys. I like their vocals. I like everything else, but New Era just didn't really hit it for me. And then when Look released a couple of days ago, this one, even though it's slower, I really did like. I liked the vibe. I liked the feel. I liked the pickup in the middle. Like, there's just so much about it that is GOT7 to me that I didn't really like. New Era just sounded very much like a lot of what the newer boy bands are putting out. So it just didn't resonate very well with me.
Yeah, this was a solid track. It actually came out a couple of months ago, and I think it just that it didn't register with me at the time, or it just kind of overlooked it, which is kind of a shame. But it's a solid track. I think there's some stuff that is plenty modern enough, but I think there's some stuff. It kind of reminds me of 2 p.m. a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, not just because like it's JYP, but it has like some elements of something that that 2 p.m. would probably put out now. Kind of.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just kind of had something similar to that in feel, but I think overall it's a pretty solid track.
Yeah, I feel it. I like it. I enjoyed it. So, yeah. All right. So not to move on too quickly from GOT7 because I like the boys from GOT7, but
You burned the lead,
as PD said. BTS coming in his art with their song "Fake Love" off their new album, which actually I have on hold, and I'm gonna pick it up.
I'm getting it tomorrow from Amazon, as long as the Amazon guy actually delivers it and not a empty envelope like the first Amazon guy did for the previous album.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get it. I literally when I mean I have it on hold, I physically put it somewhere where no one else can get it because I work in the place where it is.
Oh, I gotta see if it can work. I mean, even though at my job we're getting rid of CDs, I wonder if we have it.
Yeah. So yes, I'm gonna get that. But yeah, boys from this group, which we like, we love, and they do no wrong at the moment. Just really good. Just really good, solid track. Like I definitely enjoyed the fuck out of it. Like
yeah.
There's I don't know. There's not really much to say about it. I just kind of enjoyed it. I just really, really liked it and enjoyed it.
Yeah, like I know that I've seen I think I've called some people have called it something that grows on you.
Yeah,
and I think I'm finding I think I agree with that, but I think that what the thing that it definitely grows on you, but for me, it's gonna grow on me, but it's already starting from a place of like, man, I really like this song, and I can only see myself just letting it
liking it more,
liking it even more and more the more I listen to it. So I'm like, I like it now, and I can only see myself just like every time I listen to it, like just jamming it, just jamming more into it. There's a lot to really like about this song and just in general. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know, like a lot of people had some problems with it, and I don't really know what or why or how, but like I enjoyed the fuck out of it, so I just assumed they were all wrong. As always.
They're all wrong. But
You're all wrong.
Really fun. BTS is fantastic, and I'm so hyped. It's gonna be so cool to kind of listen to that album, and just the fact that like it's it's at where you're working at. It's on Amazon Prime eligible on Amazon, not just on Amazon like import accidentally. It's like I could buy. I bought the previous album just because I could on Amazon and primed it to my house, and it only took a second attempt because the first guy stole it. First Amazon guy stole it.
That was easy.
But yeah, like it's just fantastic. Like it's crazy the fact that a K-pop album is this easy to get. Like it's so cool.
Well, like I said, we're reaching that saturation point where marketers and sellers and things like that now really, really know what people want, right? So if you're not giving people what they want, they go somewhere else and get it. And if you want those dollars, if you want that value, you have to give them what they want, So we're in a good place, ladies and gentlemen. We're in a good place.
Yeah. God damn it. Except for that YouTube is suggesting reaction videos on the right side, and it's bothering me.
Well, I mean, those are going to be there, and that, like, whether we like them or not, they help. Like they help the cause.
I was almost going to name one, but I figured that would be in bad taste.
Yes.
Yeah. BTS, fantastic. The boys are fantastic. I'm so looking forward to that. Maybe we might talk about it in the future. We'll see. It'll be a fun thing to talk about. But yeah, my tone. Time for my picks. Time for what I've been checking out. Some of the things that caught my attention. I mean, besides the new Backstreet Boys, of course. There's been a couple of things. I've checked out a couple of the episodes of Busted on Netflix. I didn't put it in the doc, but I'll put it in a moment later. It's just first impressions. I think there's a lot to really like about the show. There's a lot to like about the personalities. I definitely understand that there's been like the reaction has been mostly that people have been a little put off by at least how scripted it seems and like how scripted it is, because a good chunk of it is scripted because they have to set up a lot of premises. Because the way they do it is they took the fact that they have more budget and more time and more freedom to kind of not be told exactly how you're supposed to, play to an audience, they don't do the thing where they have the cast standing on camera, staring off camera while a PD describes what they're supposed to do. They just do it in some scripted and a little bit of like improvised role play storytelling. But and I think it works. It to some respect, they definitely do a lot to keep it seamless. And as far as the improvised role play with the scripted parts and keep the game almost you can tell there's there's a game there that they actually are playing, but they just focus on the role play parts and focus on as if they were telling a story and how it plays out just as a cohesive story. And I think that works to its benefit or to its detriment depending on what your expectations are. Because it could very much feel like it doesn't feel spontaneous. As spontaneous as some people like Korean variety shows to be. But I think it's because it's edited up quite a bit to be a little bit more cohesive. Which, depending on your expectations, could be great, or it could be, a little bit annoying. I don't know. Did you get a chance to check out the episodes of the show?
I've been too busy watching Rurouni Kenshin.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Literally, I don't know what happened. I turned on Netflix one day. I was like, oh shit, Rurouni Kenshin's on here.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us. But yeah, I'm looking forward. I'll only see the first couple episodes. I'll report back in maybe after watching the rest of a few more, or maybe even until once it finishes up and I've watched all of it. But so far so good. I like it. But mileage may vary. But moving on from that, Babymetal is back. Babymetal came out with a new single, just a single, presumably in preparation, more directly in preparation for their current, now ongoing tour. At the time upcoming, kind of prepare in preparation for the new, the new imagery, the new style, the new story, the new lore that they were rolling out for this tour. They came out with a song called Distortion, and it is pretty fantastic. I like it a lot. I like the mix of the vocals. I like there's a very interesting video too. You don't see the girls at all in the video. It definitely, you finally meet the chosen seven that they've been kind of teasing about, which are, I guess, just are fictional characters in the Babymetal lore now. I guess they're building this like dark lore, which is pretty fantastic. I think I like that a lot. I like the video a lot, just from like being aesthetic, from an aesthetic standpoint. And then the song is solid. Like the musicianship is cool. Like the guitar is like, it's heavy, and it's dark, but has a nice energy to it. Once Sue starts to kind of like stretch her vocals, like they're fantastic. But kind of the back and forth between like the male and the female vocals works really well. What do you think, Kaz?
I enjoyed it. I'm not like the biggest follower of Babymetal. Like I'm not fallen off. It's just like I kind of just wait and see what's going on, and I tend to enjoy it. So this was definitely really, really fun, and I like the creative path, right, with Babymetal, right, because that's where it started, and I think that's where it should continue. So doing something this creative, I think, definitely fits, and I think it's definitely of what people want from it.
Yeah.
I think this just it makes it more interesting, right? It makes it more interesting to play into these things than not.
Yeah, which is really cool. More on Babymetal later on in the headlines. This will be fun. But yeah, speaking of really fun groups of ladies that can dance and sing to rock instrumentals, Dreamcatcher came out with a new track.
Catching Dreams.
Yeah, Catching Dreams. Catching Nightmares. Apparently, the final comeback for the Nightmare era. Kind of this Nightmare trilogy or whatever. The song's called You and I, and it's pretty fantastic. It has a really good energy to it. The visuals are really cool, like the vocals, the instrumentals are really interesting. It fits in really well with like the previous like tracks that they've kind of had as title tracks. It has a nice like it creates a nice little like bow onto like this experimental era, that they started off with, and overall it's just really cool and dramatic, and the girls sound fantastic and they look great. There's really cool like visual elements to the video. There's plenty of like crazy like rituals and plenty of the fun imagery from the previous, the similar to the previous videos. I think like it's just a solid track. Like it's just Dreamcatcher has done they've done such a really cool thing with Dreamcatcher with this, like since their debut, I guess, if you want to call it, their re-debut / debut or whatever you want to call it. I'm in for it. Satanic G Friend.
Yeah.
Just fantastic. Kaz, what do you think?
I liked it. It varies, like, I guess because I've been watching anime again, it very much, some parts of it remind me of like anime theme music or ending music. Which isn't a bad thing. It just that's just kind of the imagery it put in my head. And I like I said, I enjoyed it more or less.
Yeah, I think like
I ain't got nothing against them.
Yeah, I think it's really solid, and I'm looking forward to more from Dreamcatcher. Depending on what they're gonna do with their future endeavors and their future like approaches. We'll see, but I'm looking forward to more. Always looking forward to more from Dreamcatcher. But yeah, finally, my last go back to Japan for my third track. So Lady Baby are back. If you remember Lady Baby, they were the group that was the two little Japanese girls and the gigantic bearded, apparently Australian guy who was supposed to be like a little girl in character. They split up from him. And they split up from him as a group. They, for a time, called themselves the Idol, formerly known as Lady Baby. But they decided to kind of just go with Lady Baby going forward, and have come back with a track recently released. A track that has its own Japanese name that doesn't seem to want to translate in Google Translate. As it's Hoshi no Nai Soda. It's a very interesting track. It's very interesting, like musically, like it's pretty heavy. It's like has a nice like a vibe to it. It's a pretty simple video, but I think it fits well. They've seemingly found a new screamer, as it were.
Yeah.
In a new female member of the group, but they fleshed out the group into now I believe 4-member group, and it's interesting. It's a cool track. It's a cool energy track. It's very much like in the wheelhouse now of like the kawaii metal, like they're fine. They're leaning into that lane now, and I think, but overall, I think that works for them. I think it's overall a solid song for that, and I think it's overall a solid direction. I think where this is going to be almost like the as much fun and crazy as that group initially was with the dude. This is gonna seem more. This seems like more of a project that you can take seriously in a fun way, like just as like a fun group that you can seriously, like, I don't know, you can take a little more seriously, as a group and as a music project or as an idol project. I guess I don't know. Kind of. If any of that makes sense, I don't know.
I don't feel like, to me, there was any. I don't feel like there was any de-legitimization with having somebody who crafted a character, and then used that character musically, because he was already doing things musically. Right. Yeah. And it was kind of the additive was this completion of that. Right. So I don't feel like anything was taken away from it by having him there. I almost feel like it's a little bit more. I feel like losing that overarching character, right? If we're talking about not even just musically, but from a marketing and visual standpoint, right? Like you lose this character who, yes, was very meme-ish at first, right? It's wrestler, rocky musician, kind of idolized person, right? Kind of, in a sense, using idolization to bolster a character, right? So I think that adds to the overall thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas now, to anyone else, it's just going to seem like you're trying to cash in on the Babymetal idol thing, right? Yeah. And it just, that's just what it's going to seem like, no matter what you try to do, no matter how genuine it is. That's all it's going to seem like is that you're trying to cash in on what little stardust is left from Babymetal.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, having something that just makes you stand out can be good. That being said, it seemed like it was just something that it just happened where he just left. So it could have been not their choice anyways to have them leave. So at this point, like, okay, we could have just done the duo, or they could do what they do now and bolster the lineup and try to do a different thing. But yeah, definitely, I definitely understand how like you can see it that way, where it's like they had something that set them apart and was different, and whereas without that, you could. They could easily be dismissed as kind of an also ran. So we'll see.
Because you also have to look at it in the sense, right? They're not playing instruments, or at least not in the video. I don't know what they do as a live performance, right? Because this is kind of our first taste of them. But then you take something like in comparison, not Babymetal, right? But in comparison, you take something a little bit more established, like Bandmade, right? Mm-hmm. Bandmade seems, for however you put it, so genuine to Japanese idol rock music. You know what I mean? Like, there's a little bit of idolization, but it is very much rock music, right? Babymetal is a little bit more crafted, a little bit more polished. So now, where do you fit in as Lady Baby? You know what I mean? So it's once they find their uniqueness in this sense, nobody will question them. But until then, everybody's going to question them the other way than what you are. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's going to be like, you're just kind of doing this thing that already exists.
Yeah. So, we'll see. It's one of those classics. We'll wait and see. But at the end of the day, this track is a pretty solid track, and
it's not bad. I still don't want to shit on them because it's not a bad track. It's actually really relatively well done. There's some parts of it some of the screamo parts are a little even for Japanese screamo, which tends to be a little more over the top, but fun in its over the topness. I love how over the top Japanese screamo is. But they're
we'll see. We'll see. I think it's solid, but we'll see. We'll see what happens for them, what happens from them going forward. But that wraps up what's new. Now we'll go over to our other half of the show, to our headline segment. So join us on the flip side. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our headline segment. We talk about some topical topics, things that are going on in the world of East Asian pop culture. Some of the news and happenings and whatnot. Let's get started. So I talked about Babymetal earlier, as far as the track. Let's talk about the tour. So the Babymetal has started the U.S. leg of their world tour, which is exciting. Mm-hmm. It's fun. A lot of people getting to see them. Some cool shows. A lot of sellouts, which is fantastic. Which is just really cool to see. But there's one big problem that everybody that showed up to the first show and then the first couple of shows noticed is Yui-Metal was missing. They started the U.S. tour and Yui-Metal was not there. Instead, you had on stage Su-Metal and Moa-Metal. Su-Metal doing her thing as the vocalist, as a singer, and Moa-Metal doing her thing that she usually does with Yui-Metal, providing kind of like the ancillary singing and the chanting, and then mostly the choreography. And then they had a couple backup dancers. They kind of like having an odd formation, so it was like 4 girls on stage. It was interesting. There was a lot of people asking, where is Yui-Metal? And a lot of no answers from anybody at AMUs. So like you had even Billboard putting out articles about how this is going on and people asking questions. The a lot of hullabaloo. And then they finally, they at first AMU says that they were unable to offer any comment, which I called bullshit on that. And then finally we had confirmation. We had, well, I don't know about confirmation. Somebody from their American management saying everything's fine. She's still in the group. Everything's fine. She's still a member of the group. She can't make the tour, but she's still a member of the group. What she I mean not she can't make the tour. No. There's a new narrative. This is all part of the lore. This is the storyline for this tour. She's got part of the storyline is that she's not part of it. Yeah, it's all lore. So just accept that. I don't know about you, but I don't buy it. But I don't know. Well, Kaz, what was your reaction? Were you keeping track of this craziness?
No, because it only boils down to one of two things, which is what these things always boil down to, is either visa problems that they just didn't want to talk about because it seems dumb. You know what I mean? Getting caught up in visa problems always seems like just more problematic than it is, because it is. So you never want to talk about visa issues, right? Because it just seems right? So it sounds like something that they thought they would have wrapped up sooner than they did, and they didn't. So they don't want to be like, oh, this, and now we have to do all this shit, and all these issues came about, and then this other issue came about, or it could just be weird contract shit that they're trying to hash out, or just little shit. It sounds like business shit that they just don't want to talk about, and I don't blame them for not wanting to talk about background business shit, because nobody at the end of the day wants to hear background business shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like nobody legitimately wants to be a fly on the wall, like in if and whenever we have Hallyujuku meetings about like, should we change the color of slide 3? Well, the 2 camera looks fine, but I don't know about the pink. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. What do you think? This is what I think. Okay. What about hue this? What about this? Like, nobody actually legitimately cares about that shit, but they act like they care about that shit. You don't. You legitimately don't care. Like, if she was sick, if it was in something else, yeah, they would have told you.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they have no reason to, unless it is unless it is serious and they really, really, really have no other way around it, then they'll tell you, and you'll know. But if it's something dumb, like,
I will say, like, at the very least, they could have said something, ahead of the tour, like say, hey, Yui-Metal, for whatever excuse they give it, it's gonna be just Su-Metal and Mo-Metal with these backup dancers meet, and then you could also introduce the backup dancers and say, hey, we got these dancers that they're really.
But you're saying that as we know with all visa issues, shit seems okay till you get to the airport.
Yeah, but they could. They could have said before, like literally, like they could have said it like at least maybe a couple minutes or like an hour or so before the show started. Not having people show up to the show and when the lights go on, they find out. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
or they could have said something sooner and not wait until they were absolutely hammered with questions. I think that it could have been. There was still they could have said sooner. I definitely understand, like, they want to keep a mystique to everything, like, just because, like, the nature of the band or the nature of the group, and the nature of idol culture in general. Because, hey, this is still an idol group. Like, this is still an idol group, so they still want to maintain a mystique. So I guess I understand that, but I don't know. It still was, yeah. I still think, yeah, I'm still not, convinced that that all is honky dory, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
I'd rather give people benefit of the doubt than not. So
I don't like giving the idol industry the benefit of the doubt, but I guess I should.
I mean, I do it on a basis. So, like,
Yeah.
So far, the people who run Babymetal have done not a shitty job. So there's no reason to not assume that they would continue to not do a shitty job.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, still on a wait and see. Wait and see. But you're moving on. Fantagio is going through some stuff. Fantagio, several Fantagio artists request dispute mediation over contracts. Several artists from the agency Fantagio have requested dispute mediation from the Korea Entertainment Management Association. On May 14th, a source from Kima said last Friday, artists requested dispute mediation over their exclusive contracts. It is recognized as an illegal business. Their exclusive contracts could become invalid without any liability. If it is recognized as an illegal business, their exclusive contracts could become invalid without any liability. So, like, a source from Kima told news outlets the actress Kang Hana and 3 other artists under Fantagio had requested this dispute mediation. So basically, a lot of what's happening is that Fantagio is owned, at least partially or fully. Their largest shareholder is JC Group, a Chinese investment group, JC Group. Their Korean branch, Gold Finance Korea. So, like, they're owned mostly by Chinese company. So that group has apparently, like, previously dismissed their previous, co-CEO Na Byung-jung, with former co-CEO Wei Jie of JC Group's becoming the sole CEO. So, like, the issue is that the argument is that they're now operating illegally because they're dismissing that guy. Now the board members lack the actual, like, nobody in that board is licensed to run an entertainment agency.
Right.
So it's like they're not licensed to have, this company, and they're still technically under working under Na Byung-jun's license. They say, Fantagio has publicly stated that is not the case. They have a full statement. I didn't get a chance to read it, but it's a press release. They've also shared updates on some of their artists. So they at least are projecting that, everything, as you should, or as you would, the everything's fine narrative. Everything's okay. Everything's fine. Fantagio is fine.
What are you talking about? It's fine. Yeah. What do you mean?
We're not illegal. We're not. How could we be illegal? We didn't commit no crime. This is a big deal because they have, like, about 30 celebrities, including actors like So Kang-jun, Kang Hana, groups like Hello Venus, which Hello Venus is probably kind of dead in the water anyways, but a group like Wiki Miki, who are still trying to find solid ground and just debuted. So you don't know what could happen for them. Groups like Astro, and even at least one of the members of 101. What are your thoughts, Kaz? What is your impression looking outside?
This is the problem I've talked about with kind of this is that market share problem. So you try to get money where you can find it, and you try to do what you think is the best. And you run into issues like this where you become beholden to the money. You become beholden to people that don't know shit, like that don't know anything, that don't have any understanding of the industry that you are, the industry that you run. They gave you money and they want their money back, and that's it. And there's no other way around that. And that's what you become beholden to in these situations of this kind of shit. And I really, really, really would like this to stop. In a lot of industries, I would like this to stop, especially in music industries, because it works. Sometimes it works a lot of the time because of the nature of it, but it's just bad. Just bad. Because of how you just become so beholden to this shit. You just become so beholden to these people and their money and the situation that you're stuck in.
Yeah, suddenly they're calling the shots and they're firing people, and it's like, what is you doing? And like a lot of the worries about if it's doubtful that they'll cease to exist and all of the artists will be out of contracts or anything like that, but what happens to the direction and the support of some of those younger artists that are trying to find their footing, because that early push is so crucial to establishing yourself, even for a group like Astro who's young and establishing themselves, or even Wiki Miki are out there, they're trying to they had a window, they were able to kind of lock into a couple tracks and kind of keep a little bit of momentum of the fact that that post IOI fame, but that's still shaky ground. It's still shaky ground, especially because mostly it's still they're in that same boat with a lot of those groups post IOI, is that it's really just that more former IOI members group. It's Yujung and Doyeon's group. You don't know who the people aren't really familiar with. Honestly, I am not that familiar with any of the members beyond that. So it's
it's rough.
It's rough out there. So I mean, we'll have to see.
It's just a scary situation because even at the best of it, right? Even at someone trying their best in the Korean music industry, you become beholden to a shareholding company when you need that push of money, right? Because no, you're not initially just going to have record sales. It's not like you're taking some YouTube sensation and then building records around them, right? You're taking unknown tried kids and you're putting them in front of people, so you need money to do that. And now you have the money, and then these people are okay, so how's it going? And as soon as you tell them something they don't like, that's it.
Well, let's see. To wait and see. Once again, We have to hope for the best. But yeah. Speaking of waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, Scooter Braun wants fans to leave Opar alone. Says new CL music is ready. So Scooter Braun is that dude who you can blame for Justin Bieber and a few other artists. He's the Mr. Star Maker producer guy, Star Maker manager, whatnot, who's managing CL's career in the States. I know what your reaction is. CL career in the States? CL has a career? That was my reaction too.
Well, no, she's doing all the right things legitimately. Yeah. Like she's pumping out, she's being in places where she's being noticed. Yeah, she's doing all the Instagram shit. Like she's hitting all the fashion shows. She's putting herself in places where people are going to notice her beyond her music, right? And then the people who look her up, who are like, who is this chick? Who is this chick? Who is this chick? They see the stuff that she already has. So now when you hit the ramp up and you're like, oh, she's already did shit with Method Man. Oh, she's already did shit with these people and these people and these people and these people and these people. And then all of a sudden, boom, new tracks. Like, no, that's how you do the music industry now. Like,
yeah.
You hang out until you're noticed.
Yeah. It's one of those things where people are like, so yeah, Scooter Braun went out to CL's Instagram to plead fans to stop attacking him because their new music was ready and shit is going down. It's right out of YG's playbook, which is interesting since he alludes to delays not being on him, proving more evidence to the theory that it's YG who's been clock blocking CL. Yeah,
that's normal.
Yeah.
Welcome, motherfuckers. Did you think that shit was gonna stop? No.
Yeah, like it's YG, it's still YG. And you can even tell in like his when he's talking, if you watch the video, like you can tell like in deep underlying, it's like he's not saying it, but underneath he's like saying, "Yo, it's that motherfucker over there in Korea. It's that fucker. Right. It's that guy's fault." I'd put on music yesterday. If I would put out music last week, but it's that fucker right there. It keeps stopping me. And it probably is. And I honestly, I say, Scooter, I believe you. Trust me. We all believe you.
Don't worry, we've been dealing with this shit. You do to it, motherfucker. You're like, what you mean? Those tracks have been done. No, they haven't. What? Like, what do you mean? We've been had those tracks laid. What tracks? like, how do you deal with this?
I don't. Yeah.
Don't worry. There's a group we meet every Tuesday.
Yes. It's a support group. We all kind of the YG.
It's called YG Told Me It Was Coming Out Yesterday. We say the meetings are going to be on Monday, but we hold them every Tuesday because it helps that feel.
Yes.
You're like, it was supposed to drop on Monday. Tuesday. Tuesday coming around. No. Next Monday. Like, you this mother over here.
YG. I don't know. Like it's more serious. It's more silliness from YG.
Yeah. Like you would have thought this would have at least for the far-reaching thing of CL, but then if you deep in this shit like I am, you remember when they brought 2NE1 over here and they were like, nah, 2NE1 gonna be an American group, and you was like, oh shit, and you saw the pictures. They working with Pharrell. Oh shit. They working with Will I. Oh, okay, whatever. But I'm still excited though. Like, and then nothing. Literally nothing.
Yeah, they had all that we got was a feature. They got a feature on Will.i.am's album on a track that wasn't even that good,
right? Because you know why? Because YG didn't control that shit. Will.i.am was like, no, man, this mine. I can put it out whenever I want. Put it out tomorrow if I feel like. It's mixed and mastered. Dropping it. Like, no, you have to dangle it like a fucking chew toy in front of a dog, and then you throw it and hide it behind your back. Because that's what YG does.
Fucking YG is a scumbag, and that's the conclusion. The moral of the story is YG is a scumbag.
Poor Scooter Braun.
Poor him. I mean, he's still got all that money, but he's doing fine. But he's just I want
that,
CL
shit like that hurts a brand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's known for doing something like that, and now other people are going to look at him and be like, "Ooh, I thought you were supposed to be able to be like the guy," and you have to be like, "It wasn't me." Like, what do you mean? Like, you know what I mean? Because
there's this motherfucker called YG that I need to tell you about. It's like YG. I mean, I remember YG. What do you mean? Like, dude, what was dude that rapper? You know, Tootin' the Booty. I remember that dude. He did that song with Ty Dolla $ign. Yeah, YG. Like, no, not that YG. This dude in Korea.
like, how you getting big dogged by somebody else? Ain't you the big dog? You're like, look, you know what? Leave. But yeah, no, I feel bad for him. I feel bad for CL too, because she's doing all the things that she needs to do to at least make some kind of a push. But
yeah,
what can you do?
YG's a scumbag, holding back careers, besmirching the name of one Kenon Jackson from Compton. Yeah. Doing all things wrong. But yeah, moving on. Speaking of careers starting in K-pop, in the but why segment of the show, reportedly David Beckham's son Cruz reportedly participates in Korean audition agency responds. So one of David Beckham's sons has reportedly joined a Korean audition. Recently on an online community, a post spread saying that David Beckham's son, Cruz Beckham, participated in an audition for the new agency Stardium. Stardium being the agency by former Fantagio CEO Na Byung-jun. Bring it back around. So the global audition called The Man is searching for a 10-member actor entertainment group similar to Fantagio's Surprise or Five or Prize or whatever you want to call it. In response to the rumors, Stardium commented, quote, "As there are news among netizens that David Beckham's third son applied for The Man actor entertainer group audition, we are checking the applicants. Not just Koreans, but many non-Koreans are also applying for this audition. We are looking over the non-Korean applicants who submitted for the first written application round." There's no end quote, but I assume that ends the quote. Born in 2005, Cruz Beckham is the third child of David Beckham and Victoria Beckham. If this is true, my question, like I said, is, but why? And B, I love Stardium's comment of like, instead of saying like yes or no, I can almost guess that they know the answer is no. He didn't audition, like it didn't happen, but they hear this publicity is like, I don't know. It'd be crazy cool if he did. Let us check we'll go check. I mean, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know. My instinct is, but why would you want to be into K-pop, especially if you're the son of David Beckham? Like, you have, with his resources, like if you wanted to be a singer or a dancer, pretty sure David Beckham could get you all the singing and dancing training you want, and you can enter I don't know, a relevant music like a music market that you could just go directly to where you want to go. Like, you can just make a career in the UK, make a career in the US, but I don't know. That's again, it's a different climate now, so I guess I understand that. But
from the outside in, right? Like, from the outside in, right? Take someone who would be, take a Korea boo, right?
Yeah.
If you see that as an opportunity for something that you're already a fandom of, right? And like you said, you have the leeway of who your father is. And obviously, I'm going to also agree that the answer is probably no. But let's play the game, right? like, let's say his son is just super into K-pop, right? Like, and but not into it enough to know that it's kind of a travesty,
Yeah.
right? I could see somebody being like, I want to do that, and your parents don't know, but they're rich and they're like, whatever, you want to be famous in another country? Let's go for it. We'll buy the country. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. One can only hope is if they do sign him, or they if he passed, it's probably if they know who he is, and now they'll probably pass him just for the publicity, because it's not about talent or anything. It's K-pop. They'll have to pass him, and one could only hope is that at the end of the day, no matter how unknowing they are of the industry, they'll at least not be able to be hoodwinked into a bad contract. Like it's like, all right, some training fees. All right, cool. Dad, pay these training fees off real quick. It's like, oh, okay, now you can start giving me money, for the, right away. I don't know. At the end, honestly, this is a fun rumor that I don't see necessarily being true. We have no confirmation about any of this, but it's kind of fun to speculate.
No, I'll call up David later. Check.
We'll see.
Because we go way
David
back.
Victoria, yeah. Dave and Vic, yeah. I'll if anything,
I call him Vic.
Yeah. If anything, you can't reach them, they're too busy. I'll go check on them downtown where they're working on that new football team. Yeah. They got that new football team they're setting up downtown. Yeah, damn it. I hope they don't build a new stadium. It's stupid.
Like, you got anything else going on?
Hey, Miami FC was good. Is good. I'm gonna go follow them. They just canceled that league season for whatever because reasons. They canceled that season this year. The league, even though they were doing good. Stupid. But this is not Sports Odds and Ends. This is Hallyujuku.
No, but you can check out Sports Odds and Ends over at sportsoddsandsends.com.
Yes. But yeah, that brings us to the end of another episode of Hallyujuku. Speaking of Sports Odds and Ends, Kaz.
What's up?
What's going on? What's going on?
Sports Odds and Ends over at sportsoddsandsends.com. Definitely go check that out. If this episode of Hallyujuku happens to come out before whatever the next moon cycle is that allows an episode of DKG Whelp to come out, make sure you go check out the latest episode of DKG Whelp. There's some surprises and new shit that's going to be happening there. So yeah, definitely go peep in for the peepersons and the peeps for that.
Yeah,
because shit has to change sometimes in life.
Yes. Over at twitch.tv/drunkidsgaming or dkgtv.com if you want to check that out. He's at King Kaz. Of course, you can find everything he's at doing at King Kaz. I'm at PD Rave as I press the button for the outro music. The show is Hallyujuku. It's hallyujuku.com or kpoppodcast.com. Rebelli.net for this and other shows. Rebelli TV on YouTube and other places. Yeah.
Well, didn't I tell you? Don't you know?
Follow, like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Until next time, hasta los huevos. Annyeong. Fighting.
Give it to me straight, Doctor. Give it to me straight, Doctor.